So I'm going through an exercise at work right now where we're looking at something. We have a data set and we're asking the question, should we build this? When you think about could you productize it, there's a whole bunch of questions that you have to kind of walk through and think about. Why is it important? What is the pain that it solves? What is the job to be done? Who would it solve for? What is the persona that you're out there building for? And ultimately, all this comes down to exactly what could be built, what should you build, and how would you take it to market. We're in the middle of this work right now, which is forcing us to go through things like what is the total addressable market? What is the value of it? How much would we sell it for? The pricing of it? What is the delivery cost of it? What is the time to market? How fast can we get a minimum viable product, something out there that we could sell people? Then what is the cost to iterate on it, right? To maintain it. It's more than just the people, it's also the infrastructure, the delivery mechanisms, the bug fixing. All that stuff kind of comes into play when you're talking about rolling out a new product. How should it be sold? There's a whole lot of different models out there now. Freemium. You can do something product led. You could do something sales led. How much marketing support do you need to put behind it? Can you go account based marketing if you already have a big install base? Obviously, some combination of all of these kind of factors into it, but it really comes down to what is needed to support all this. And I think finally and most importantly, and the real thing that we're really diving into right now is can we get the team on board for it? Can we get enough consensus as this is a good thing and all of the different cogs in place to really support this thing? And it's a little bit of a challenge. And kind of goes all into this. Should we say no to this? I don't know yet. I have to kind of do all this due diligence as a product owner to kind of dig into it and find out exactly what it is and how we would do it. But it's a very important exercise instead of just jumping in head first to think about all these details. As I'm going through this, I don't have all the answers yet, right? There's a lot of input and things that we're making educated guesses on. It's very important to write down the hypothesis if you choose to go forward or not, what you hope to accomplish so that you can decide how to iterate, pivot fast, or ultimately decide it's a failure. And finally, realizing that anytime you do something new and big like this, it is and absolutely will be a distraction. It's going to take away some of the resources and effort that you're putting on one thing to focus it on something else. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's not, but it's something that absolutely should be thought about. All of that story really goes down to something that I think whether you're in product and you're building something or you're thinking about this personally, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. And you can see there's a whole thought process, a framework and all this as we go about how we think about doing this from a product standpoint. But this also applies to you personally as an individual. One of the hardest things that people struggle with is saying no. But maybe let me ask you or challenge you for a minute. Have you ever thought about making no your default stance? Sure, it would absolutely limit some of the opportunities and things that you would have, but how would that actually help you double down and be really, really good and focus on the things that you are already working on? How many times do we go around telling people all the time, oh, I'm so busy. I have so much stuff going on. Sorry, I can't get back to you. I'm just busy, busy, busy. Maybe that's a sign that we need to be doing more saying no. It's important to give yourself time to explore, to research, to think, and to take care of yourself. All of those things go into being like the best you and getting the best output on the things that you're already doing. And maybe some of that revolves going more to saying no. You shouldn't feel guilty in saying no. And think about it this way. If you aren't going to be good at something, you aren't passionate about it, maybe you don't have the time, then why would you feel guilty about saying no to something that you're probably going to fail at anyway? Ask yourself, are you causing more harm by committing to something than just saying no and letting somebody find somebody else to do something? Don't say yes to be a people pleaser. I'll leave you this kind of as one kind of final takeaway story. Everybody knows the success of the iPhone. It was not the first smartphone to go to market by any means. BlackBerry had the entire market cornered. But what the iPhone did, especially in those early days, so much better than anything else is think about all the things it said no to, right? It said no to a keyboard. It's a touchscreen. It said no to a lot of things. How do we make the user interface as easy to use as possible by not adding all these advanced features? So think about that in your life. What could you be saying no to so that you can double down and be good at the things that you are strong at? Something to think about.